Hey, okay, so this is what's happening. I was getting things together to do the silent film critique for this week, and things happened. um, I wanted to do a critique for a Shakespeare play, and I really wanted to do Hamlet. But the more I was researching, it was like I was falling further and further into a rabbit hole that didn't make any sense. And then I would finally think, okay, I have something, only to find out it was just going to leave me further. And I finally threw up my arms and I'm like, you know what? This is what we're going to do. Now, if you remember well, there's a video that I did for Little Women. We're going to do that here. So, I mean, there are tons of movies, I should say, that are for Shakespeare, Shakespeare plays and everything. Like just alone, when I was in high school, there were so many movies released for Shakespeare plays. Romeo plus Juliet, which is not my favorite. I've talked about that. Mel Gibson and Kenneth Branagh released Hamlet movies, and which Kenneth Branagh's is my personal favorite. And there was 10 Things I Hate About You, which is Taming of the Shrew. Midsummer Night's Dream with Christian Bale. He's everywhere. Henry V actually had another Kenneth Branagh, has Christian Bale. He's everywhere. He's all over the place. He just doesn't know. He can't help himself. But then there was also Much Ado About Nothing, which there's a picture that is circulating around the internet, and it has Keanu Reeves and Denzel Washington. It's from Much Ado About Nothing, which is it's a really good movie. And so, but yeah, there were a lot. And especially in like the mid 80s up to 2000. And well, it's no different at the turn of the century. Now, you have to understand that film was brand new. This is a brand new technology. And they were using it not just to make movies, but to document. Now, when I was deciding to look for a silent film for Shakespeare, centered around Shakespeare, I got so overwhelmed because I was finding all these different clips and I was like, what the hell is going on? Okay. One thing to remember is they would document a lot. Uh, I did two actually. Let's talk about there was one that I did that was for Shakespeare. The other one was a kabuki scene. If you remember the kabuki scene, both of them were documenting those scenes. And the other one was showing Sir Herbert Beerbohm-Tree, and he was performing the death scene from King John. And the kabuki scene was documenting these two actors performing that particular scene from that. And but and So, but like with Herbert Beerbaum he was documenting to use it for an acting school that he had. With the kabuki scene, that wasn't supposed to be shown in public ever. And for some reason, I don't remember all the, I have it in the description box for that particular, but anyway, so yeah, Herbert Beerbaum had an acting school, and and that happened quite a bit because there was also vaudeville. And of course, there were other famous Shakespeare actors and actresses who would perform these, not just Shakespeare, but they would perform, and then they would use these because they had like schools and that sort of thing, or they would go on tour and they would show these scenes for younger actors and actresses to see. And kind of a kind of showing off in a way. It's not an ego trip at all. But so I mean, why not? And use it to your advantage. And but when I'm trying to find, it is kind of annoying not knowing when it's not marked properly by whoever uploaded it. Just saying. Now, yes, I'm going to be a little bitchy on that one. But then you have these clips from actual movies. I was finding where they had different years. And I'm sure that I was trying to say in a certain year, as much as I would love to show Laurence Olivier and Orson Welles, I think we're trying to stay in this. Oh, I love both of them. But here's the thing is we're staying in the silent. And so, you know, there were so many different years. I mean, there were the 20s, I saw 1910, I saw 1917. Well, then when I looked up 1917, I was getting the movie that was 1917. I was like, I don't want that. And no matter what I put, it kept showing me that movie. And I'm sure it's a great movie, but I'm already getting so frustrated with I've already talked about the research with this book that I'm doing. Same thing here. I'm getting it again. I don't want the damn movie. So there was that. And then like I would love to show clips. Like I already did it with Sir Herbert Beerbaum. I've shown clips of movies. Well, then what I thought was a French production, it was an Italian production. Come to find it, yeah, it had been mismarked. And and everything, it's just like, oh my gosh. So Shakespeare was very popular at the turn of the century, especially in England, France, Germany, and the US. Now, even with there not being any sound, something about the visual of it was captivating. Like it's you would think that that would be an odd thing because they could still go to the theater and see, like Herbert Beerbohm or Sarah Bernhardt. Listen, Sarah Bernhardt, if you have no clue who she is, I know that in that Groucho Marx special that I have posted, he mentions her. And you may think that he's poking fun at her. Yes, she did have one leg, but the truth of the matter is that she was very successful, and he's pointing that out. So no, he's not um, making fun of her for having one leg. He's he's pointing out that even with a disability, she was more successful than he was. And and she really was. I mean, and when I was reading some of this, she was a very successful in Shakespeare. In fact, even knowing that, I did not know that she actually played Shakespeare. I mean, Hamlet. She was Hamlet. And I found pictures of her as Hamlet. So I learned something today. And so, I mean, I had known about Annette Kellerman. Annette Kellerman, she almost lost her leg and didn't. And she had become a very successful swimmer. She was Australian. And she's she's known for having the very first nude scene in a movie. And but yeah, she was very successful as a movie star and swimmer, and I think she had a health store as well. Well, even with one leg, Sarah Bernhardt became a very successful uh, stage. I don't know if she made it in silent film. I don't remember. I'll have to look that up. But anyway, so people could have gone to see these performers on stage and actually hear the words. So what was it about it that was so fascinating about watching it on film? Was it just because here's this new technology, sitting in a movie theater watching this new technology, even and watching the title screen and reading it off of that? I would have no doubt that that's what it was. But Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet were the top two that were the most famous of the Shakespeare plays. I saw Tempest was one that they made, and yeah, there was another one, and I'm blanking on it. It wasn't until the 30s that they started making others like Midsummer Night's Dream. Like I said, there was the 30s with James Cagney in it. And it seems like there may have been a Macbeth, and then of course Taming of the Shrew had that was when the talkies started rolling in and everything. But for the most part, you saw a lot of Romeo and Juliet and and uh, and those types. And so pretty much when it comes down to it, at the turn of the century, there was new technology, there was film, so they were filming these plays with the documentation. there was documentation of it, and then at the same time they were filming the actual play, so putting it into film version, and then going to see it. Well, you couldn't hear the words, but there was just something about trying to put yourself in their shoes, going to see these movies when at the same time you could go to the theater and listen to people like Sarah Bernhardt, Sir Beer Tree, and all these. I can't think of any other Shakespeare actors of the time off the top of my head, but when you could hear the words, instead you're just sitting there reading off title cards and hearing this piano music go. Everything. It was just the exciting part was going to watch this new technology. I guess that's just what it boiled down to. And and again, there was so much Hamlet. Hamlet was the big one, and several different countries made it. I found an Italian 1910. There was a French stage production, and so yeah, there was just an explosion all around the world of Shakespeare. And but as for film, documenting and all that. So, but as for the entertainment industry, Shakespeare, it's it's latched on to Shakespeare, and and will never stop. Like I said, when I was in high school, I think the top two were Romeo plus Juliet and Kenneth Branagh's, actually top three, I should say, because 10 Things I Hate About You, Romeo plus Juliet, and Kenneth Branagh's Hamlet. Those were the top three. But anyway, like I said, I was trying to find a silent film for this week and fell down quite the rabbit hole. And I thought I would give a bit of a history lesson as to what was happening with Shakespeare at the turn of the century.